Hey, Caitlin, we're back.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Dre,
With
your
a
token millennial. How
yes, you are.
how are we
It's funny
doing?
because I called you a millennial before we were recording as an insult, and then I'm like, no, that's just true. I think
It's
like
not
it's
it's
not.
not an insult. I,
No,
I
it's
like
just true.
I yeah. When millennials had killed avocado toast or whatever that nonsense was like 5
Hmm.
years ago, I was like, yeah, I don't it's not you're not hurting my feelings. Or like what no, it was like we're buying avocado toast instead of houses or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you couldn't afford a house because of your Starbucks and avocado toast.
Mhm.
Um,
No, how about we couldn't afford a
yeah.
house because of the economy that we inherited from our boomer parents, but
I mean,
we
even
digress.
if you bought a $10 Starbucks every day for a year, that's $3,650. That's not enough to even come close to scratching a down payment on a house. So just enjoy your Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Mhm.
It's all good.
Yeah. Even if you were gonna just put the minimum of 5% down on like $100,000 house, doesn't even
No, it
doesn't
really doesn't
even.
get you there.
Mm-mm.
And I don't think most people do Starbucks every day. And it's also not always $10. Sometimes it's like 7, but it is expensive though.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Corporate greed, man. It's a real pain.
Oh, well, if we keep paying for it, they'll keep charging us for it.
That's true. That's true.
So we're not here to talk Starbucks or millennial vices. We're here to talk about marketing myths. Caitlin, today's another marketing myth episode. We're going to debunk them,
Yes.
and we will not be having a quiz. We're just going to have a conversation. So I know you love a good quiz, but
I just like a competition,
I
which is
know
why I've spent the day watching the Olympics.
that makes
Just
sense.
like in
That
the
makes
back,
sense.
it's very soothing.
Hmm.
Also, like, I'm pretty sure my neighbors are wondering, like, what all the shouting is about.
Oh, are you a screamer? Like you
Oh,
shout at the
absolutely,
TV?
yeah,
Like, oh, that's
and
loud.
not in a like a disparaging way, only a celebratory way.
Oh, okay. No,
I
that's
don't like
fair.
to yell like, "Oh, you suck!" Like that's a bummer. But Team
I
USA, yes, go
I
get them.
I feel like the Olympics aren't a place for that. Like even if somebody completely biffs like
No,
a dive or falls off,
hmm
you're more like, "Ooh, then you suck."
yeah. Also, unless it's China or Russia, in which case I'm like, ugh, get out of here. Except Russia got kicked out. They're not even at the Olympics.
No,
So,
I know.
yeah.
China's been doing pretty well. Their female synchronized divers did a really nice
Oh,
job
did they?
the
I don't
other
care.
day.
I mean, I care, but
Yeah.
ugh, China. Mm.
And there was another one. It was Australia or Finland or something. I don't know who it was, but
Hmm.
they got really far apart, like on the dive
Oh,
and
I think
part
I
of the
saw that.
synchro. Yeah, and it was like, oh, don't even show us the score.
I know.
But
Just please
I felt
don't.
so bad for
I
them.
know. I know.
And Tom Daly knitting in the
His
stands
little
when Great Britain's
sweaters.
diving. He's
They're
so
so
cute.
cute. Yeah.
Um,
I'm trying desperately to turn my toddler into an Olympics enthusiast. I think gymnastics is what's gonna like seal the deal. Sparkly costumes, fun dance moves, amazing
could be.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
Could very well be. Or she'll decide she wants to do archery.
Um
You,
yes, we
you
did.
never know.
South Korea clinched their gold medal for
Hmm.
like the however many times in a row in a shootout. It was exhilarating.
Wow,
I
that's
love the
exciting.
Olympics. I love the Olympics.
Zach, we probably should have just done an Olympics episode, but we didn't. Um, so, moving us on about debunking common digital marketing myths, which is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to hit 3 myths because we know can only get about that much in a
Because we're
conversation.
chatty. By
But
we, I
we're
mean me.
also, and Caitlin, watch this transition. We're also going to debunk the myth that margaritas must be lime. So, Caitlin,
Ah.
what's our cocktail?
Today, we have a coconut guava margarita. And I must say it's perfect for a hot summer day if you
Mhm.
are on a patio, watching the Olympics.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Perhaps.
I kind of poo-pooed this one when it came up because I'm like, this just feels stupid and made up. But then
Mm-mm.
I saw the recipe and I was like, okay, like maybe yeah. So it's coconut
Mhm.
milk, not coconut water, which I don't want coconut water. Coconut milk
Mm-mm.
is delicious though.
Mhm.
So that gives it a creaminess, and then you've got freshness from the guava, especially if you can find fresh guavas. And I think they had them at Whole Foods the other day, so I think they're out there right now.
Mm.
Um, if you can't find fresh guava, you can always find guava nectar. I recommend going to your Mexican grocery to get your guava
Yes.
nectar because it's going to be real good.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one comes to us from...
yeah. Jumex.
No, go ahead.
That's the...
Yes,
that's
Jumex. That's the brand.
We used to drink Jumex all the time in Honduras.
Yep, and there's so many nectars that they
Mm-hmm.
have. It's so great. And
Yeah.
it's really, really... I mean, like, next best thing to fresh. So this one comes from Parched Around the World. And that made me think about the song, like, Been Around the World, and I can't find my baby. Like, parched around the world, and I can't find my cocktail. I can't remember who sang that, but...
It's escaping me.
80s, I'm pretty sure.
I know, I was
it's
like,
80s.
I think it's older than we are.
Yeah, it's not older than me.
Nope.
It's older than you.
Yeah. The recipe is 2 ounces of Blanco tequila, 1 ounce of lime juice, 2 ounces of guava nectar, a small guava quartered if you want or can find it, 1 ounce of cream of coconut, and 1 ounce of coconut milk. Garnish with a lime wheel or that guava slice. And you're going to add the guava and lime juice to a cocktail shaker and muddle. And add the remaining ingredients and shake with ice until cold. Double strain into a glass of your choice filled with ice and garnish. I think we talked about this last time, but I like a margarita in a rocks glass. It's just easier.
Same, yeah. And I think, because when you were at, it was on Happy Hour, I showed you my margarita glasses that are basically like rocks glasses.
R.I.P. Carlos O'Kelly's.
I know, yeah, gosh. The throwbacks are coming around. It's funny, and I feel like On the Border is the new Carlos O'Kelly's, and the one in Omaha closed, and then it reopened like 3 blocks down the road, and everybody was like, okay, that makes no sense. And
Why?
we had friends come in, and they're like, one who even works in the restaurant industry, and was like, I thought all those were closed. Like, I thought they went out of business. And I'm like, I don't know. I just know we lost one, and then we got another one, and it's not where we go to eat because there's so much good Mexican food in Omaha. So
Yeah.
we eat that other way. I do like the double strain as well. I guess most people don't like a chunky cocktail, right?
Yes.
Like that's
I think
generally not a
so.
good thing.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you to
I wanna chew
parchedaroundtheworld.com. I hadn't even heard of parchedaroundtheworld.com, so kudos, Zach. I'll have to go check that out. I would imagine they have plenty of global drinks.
Maybe we could do an Olympics themed episode with drinks from all of the top 3 gold medal countries.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, right now it's the U.S., so it's what's that, like a Bud Light, like
probably
Hams.
It's definitely not.
I guess
Hams.
you could go. Well, you could go with like whiskey. Like whiskey is a Kentucky bourbon thing. I guess whiskey is more of an Irish thing or Scottish thing.
Yes, all bourbon is American. All bourbon is whiskey. Not all whiskey is American.
We could look for the most famous cocktail in each country, or
it's probably
the
like a Red
weirdest
Bull
cocktail
vodka.
in each country.
I like that. I like a weird
I like
cocktail.
that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, so
it is not a
the
myth.
margarita myth.
Yes, it's not a myth. You can do. I also love. It's not technically a margarita, but a paloma. I think we've done a paloma in the past. I love that as well. Also very fresh with a little grapefruit.
Somebody, gosh, who was it? I can't remember. We were somewhere. We've been places. Oh no, it was Costco has palomas in a bottle, like pre-mixed and everything. Which I don't know.
I have a hard time with the pre-mixed cocktails because I feel like the ascorbic acid or the extra like citric acid that they put in for preservative, which like preservatives are fine. I'm not like weird about that, but I feel like they just they give me heartburn. It's like
it's
worse
heartburn in a bottle. Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
We did buy that. They had an Aperol spritz in a bottle. Well, not Aperol. It was, I guess, an aperitivo spritz. But I haven't opened it yet. So I meant to do it during the pool party, and I forgot.
Whoops.
So, I know.
Okay.
Here it is.
That's okay.
All right. Well, should we
let's
take a dance
debunk some
break
myths.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, let's definitely do this. I am so yawny today. I don't know why. Probably because it's 100
I know. I was
degrees.
like,
Well,
we weren't made to survive in this heat. We're meant to be siestaing with our margarita.
I could do that. I mean, we do have air conditioning, but it's actually set at a very comfortable temperature. It's not too cold, although Casey is wearing a sweatshirt, so. But he gets cold easily.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, Caitlin, the myth.
Myth number 1.
Mm-hmm.
There is no such thing as bad publicity, based on the old P.T. Barnum quote, who I think is kind of problematic, right? Like, didn't we learn that there were some things?
There were some things, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think in the 1800s, not to be confused with the late 1900s when I existed, and you existed too for a while there. I think that was maybe true, just because getting people talking about you is going to get them curious. Yeah. They're going to like want to know. And I think that a lot of people have held this true, but we have seen bad publicity backfire like nobody's business in digital territories.
I think the cancel culture, quote unquote, sometimes can go a little too far, but I also think that there's certainly room to hold people and companies or brands accountable for bad actions.
Yeah. And I think that, so there's some of those, and I think where you're going is some of the cancel culture where it's just like, oh, I don't like what you did there personally, is like, yeah, shut up and move on and go buy another product. But the like, oh, we actually damaged someone or something, or did this ubiquitously agreeable bad thing. It's a really horrible way to say that, but everybody thinks it was bad, and so you've got to be held accountable for that. We love to spread negative stuff too, like negative things. Just humans are wired to
well, it's like
sucks.
Our protection instinct to be like, oh, don't do that because it's not safe. And,
except we've taken it so far beyond safe. That's another Brene Brown thing. I was listening to another one of her books again, her latest book. And she talks about that, like how all of these things, like disgust was created to protect us and keep us from, drinking bad water and eating things that would kill us. And now we've taken it to new heights with like trying to cancel other people because we're disgusted by something of their behavior that they might be perfectly fine with, and we just might be like, bleh. I think, and I mean, we've seen careers go down over negative publicity. You look at things like scandals in Hollywood, like I look at like the Kevin Spacey thing and all of that stuff, and the whole Me Too movement. That stuff didn't exist in that way. I mean, it existed definitely when P.T. Barnum was like around and popular, but there is no way to get the word spread. The
mechanism for recourse too was like non-existent. I think that's the other thing in terms of like cancel culture is the dynamics have shifted. So it's easier.
Oh wait, angry white men aren't in charge of everything anymore.
Oh gosh, are we going there?
No,
I don't think we have time. Like I don't think we have time.
But I mean, it was, things have become more diverse. We do have women in power. We have women who aren't afraid to speak up. We have, other nationalities. Like all kinds of diversity has come about, where the good old boys club can only protect people so far, and it's getting shorter and shorter with how far that can protect somebody these days. I even think of Bridgerton and like their men's clubs and things.
Oh yeah.
Where they would do, like, if you were in the club, like the other club members would protect you from whatever was happening, financial or scandal or whatever. And so it led to people doing a lot of stupid bad things, where today they would all take pictures on their phone and those videos would be on TikTok in like 15 seconds before you walked out the door. I
think there are some positive outcomes from like cancel culture, but the negative consequences of that bad publicity can far outweigh the benefits almost always.
Yeah, and I think you get a better outcome when a company does something wrong or negative, perhaps accidentally or unknowingly, or just not thinking, like it wasn't malicious. And they jump on it right away and take corrective action. They apologize. Nothing is
Actually
better than an apology.
apologize.
Yeah, not the I'm sorry if you were offended by that, Caitlin.
The non-apology of the like mid-aughts was just like, it was like word salad every time, particularly from the Harvey Weinsteins.
And an apology,
just gross.
Yep. Apologies don't have caveats to them. It's admitting we made a mistake when we did this. We are sorry for that mistake and the harm that it has caused. And here's how we're going to do better.
It's like, nope, and that's it.
Yeah, but I think here's how we're going to do better. Like, what are we going to do differently? I think if you're getting in too deep, you definitely would want to look for legal advice. There's certain things that you can be helped with just a PR company or that type of thing, or just common sense. And oh my God, don't yell at people and get defensive. That's not going to work.
It's just like
so much worse.
Well, and it's just such a signal to people that you screwed up, and you want to just like put all of that on somebody. It's like, oh, she shouldn't have been doing that or wearing that or saying that or what, like the defensive-ness immediately screams like, oh, you fucked up.
Guilty.
Like, yeah,
Guilty.
exactly. Exactly.
Yep. Okay, so Zach, this one gets an E. We got to put a little E on this one for explicit because Caitlin done said an F-bomb. No, it's fine. Yeah. So
I think
legal advice, don't be defensive. Go ahead.
Accountability, and then legal advice, and don't get defensive, and then accountability again, and then communicate and more accountability is just like, you can't
and then
forget
don't keep doing it. And don't do it again.
Exactly. The other thing I'll say too is like the flip side of cancel culture, and like this is a tricky one for me personally, is to forgive or understand that people will make mistakes, and like sometimes we have to have, in Dave Chappelle's words, who is also problematic in his own ways, but imperfect allies, right? Like sometimes people are going to do or say things that make you uncomfortable or that are not politically correct or are offensive, but knowing that they can take accountability and apologize, and you can move on from it. And like, we have to give people the room to be forgiven too.
Yep. Yeah, we have a friend of a friend who was saying like low-key homophobic things at dinner, like thinking she was being an ally, like, but using language and terminology, and we're like, no, girl, no. And we brought it up because we're like, okay, like, Brene Brown, I'm going to be generous and assume that she's doing her best and
doing the best she can. Yes.
She is thinking that this is not a problem, and so we're going to point that out. No, didn't help. Didn't stop. So now we're just like, okay, we're done with you.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, and same thing if brands do that. Oh, dear God. Like, come on.
Yeah. And we can vote with our dollars, right? Like, we can choose where to spend 100%. Our money and Yeah,
it's funny. People are like, do you think you not spending money with that brand is going to really make a difference to them? And it's like, I don't know, but I don't. It
makes a difference for me.
If they do things that I don't agree with or that I find wrong, and honestly, like, if we keep spending money on stupid things with brands who are evil, then they're just going to keep doing what they do.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Myth number 2:
email marketing. Email marketing is dead.
Email marketing as a tool isn't dead, but some marketing practices are, like impersonal email address lines, violating GDPR. Absolutely not. Don't do it. Ignoring user experience and not tracking metrics. That's a quote from HubSpot.
Yeah, the not tracking metrics is definitely one of their big things.
It's so easy.
It is really easy. Like, I had to show somebody that. They're like, how do I know how my emails are performing? I'm like, well, you can actually go to dashboard and just choose the marketing email dashboard, right? And it's going to put like 8 reports on there for you.
It's just right. It's right there.
Super easy. So yeah, I think that the volume of cold email that I get from people who are like, I quote something from our website's like meta description, Like, it's just like, I see Antidote 71 specializes in digital and traditional marketing. And it's like, no, just shut up. You didn't even read our thing.
Right.
Or they didn't read anything about me. That's like, it's ridiculous. Like, you can do better. And that's where we focus on inbound marketing. I think that outbound email, like cold email mass buckshot to the world, is problematic.
Yes.
And
I wish that would go away.
I do too. I just keep replying no whenever I get those. And then I'll get like, well, but, and I'm like, did you not hear me? Did I stutter? I said no. Good day, really, sir. Yeah. I said good day.
Get out of my inbox. I got enough stuff to deal with.
Yeah, I do love this quote that Zach pulled from Reddit from a user named Perlit, we think. Perllitte. We don't know. Anyone who tells you email marketing is dead has one of three things: a terrible list, a terrible product, or a terrible understanding of their job. And it's like, yeah, terrible list is the biggest one that I see, which brings me to don't buy
your data.
Lists. And don't buy lists.
Yeah.
You're going to get such a horrible response. Mm-hmm. And we do, and I'm sure Zach will link to it in the description, but we do have a previous episode on email marketing that we did with Charla.
Lots of good tips in there.
Yeah, tons of good tips, and there's probably a blog post or something, but Zach will throw that in the notes if we've got any of those. But like, biggest mistakes, your subject line sucks. Mm-hmm. If no one's opening your emails, your subject line sucks. Mm-hmm. Do better. Not using personalization in that subject line. That's a big one.
That's so easy too. Especially, I mean, like, I know we're HubSpot guru or, fangirls, whatever. It's so easy within HubSpot. Like, that's part of the base model for $15 a month. Easy. Yeah.
You don't segment or focus your list. This reminds me of, it was back in like the 90s, I think, but Banana Republic, are they still relevant? They're still around, I think. Yeah, they're still around. They didn't segment their list by male or female. And I'm like, what clothes I bought. Right. Like, one, you've got access to my rewards card, so you see that on there. And then they finally figured it out and started sending like the men's stuff and the women's stuff. With the exception of like on Mother's Day, they might send a woman's thing to men for like, buy this for your wife or whatever.
Scarf. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and like getting, because I was getting, emails with like bras in them, and I'm like, well, I don't know what you're trying to tell me, but at that point I didn't need one.
No, thank you.
I was a skinny little thing, and it's like, no, stop.
I think what's so funny to me about, especially in the retail universe, is like the just mass amounts of data that they have and don't use. Period.
Yeah, and you can
it's wild.
Yeah, you can completely like segment so many ways. I mean, don't overdo it. Like, you don't have to get super micro, but things like segmenting on size, on like size purchased, on price point for people who are don't send sale emails to people who always buy stuff at full price. Like, if they're willing to pay full price, you don't need to give them a discount. Save that for the people who don't shop. One of the things that I've done with some retail emails that I've sent for a client is I've created a list that I don't send to a list of has purchased in the last 7 days.
Oh yeah,
because I don't want to send you a discount on something that you've already bought like a week ago. And they don't have a policy on it. Like, they're like, we're not gonna like take the return or anything. But it's still just a good thing. Like, it's a good user experience, right? I don't want to see that thing I just bought now on sale in my inbox if you're not going to price match it for me.
Nothing makes me more sad as an internet shopper.
I know. I think that the thing that makes me the most sad is when I see it's Wayfair is guilty of this like crazy. I see their ad on Facebook with like a cool thing, and I click it and it's like, this isn't available or this is sold out. And I'm like, just
don't.
That you can figure out too. Like, I've integrated e-commerce with Facebook and other places, and you can have it like, if it is not available, it will not show in the ad. Yeah. But whatever. I digress. So we talked about personalization being important. I don't know. I'm gonna Wayfair. I will handle your stuff. Just send it to me.
We'll take your money. Thank you. Yeah,
not using personalization is one, but then I want to go to the other side of that. I want to get to creepy, getting creepy personalized.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
So this is a fun one. I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna change it to you. So the subject line: We saw you on March 12th at 3:17 p.m., Catelin.
Ew.
And then in the email, our records indicate you were browsing our Wordy shirt selection on March 12th at 3:17 p.m. We believe
at
you'd
exactly
like our nature collection.
No.
Well, exactly, yeah.
No.
So yeah, I mean, and that's also like you can set things up so that if it's a known person who comes to your website, you send them an email or enroll them in a sequence or whatever. But like the thing that we try to tell salespeople is just because somebody was on your website doesn't mean they want a phone call right now or an email immediately after. And don't reference like, hey, I saw you were on our website, so I'm emailing you this. You can say, the other day I was thinking about you and thought you might be interested in, our nature shirts. So I'm sending you this email. And you can also like an email that's just so creepy. And you can also just hit it with retargeting ads, right? Like I could just start throwing shirts in front of you as you go around the web. We're okay with that. Like as... we kind of figured out, okay, that happens as consumers. And ideally, it helps me find the stuff that I want.
Ideally. Don't get out of my inbox with that stuff, though. That's weird. It's weird.
I think the other one is, if you're going to do personalization with placeholders, make sure that they pull something through. You've got to have a default something in there. So I know what I use for a lot of, again, for retail clients to be informal, is I put hey and then their name, like, hey, Catelin, but the placeholder is there. So it'll just say, hey there. So you got to think of that too. Like, and don't make your placeholder first name, because then you end up with this, like what Jesse received. And I actually got the same email too.
I did
where
too.
It's in brackets, name, we want to meet you in person.
You don't even know me.
What's funny is in the body of the email, they actually had the personalization in there. Like my name was in the body. It just wasn't in the subject line. So it's like, okay, so you can do this.
You just
didn't.
You're just bad at it. Okay.
So yeah, and being bad at something doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means you're bad at it. But we see email work for clients all the time, especially when it's something you want. And away you go.
Yes. Myth number 3. Graphic design is just about creating logos. Megan was going off about this last week, I thought, and it was hilarious. I like spicy Megan.
Yeah. So we should have we should have recorded her saying this.
Yes.
But anyway, I guess Zach still could after the fact. But her thought is, most people when they're in school wanting to be graphic designers, they just want to create logos. And that's always a project you do, right? You create like 50 logos and stuff because it's fun and it's interesting and it's neat. But it's like, I would say it's less than 5% of what you actually do.
I know. I was like, 5% is high.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and you might do things like create an icon set for a client, which is sort of logo adjacent and kind of fun as well. I know we've done that. Well, our podcast graphics are a good example. So each one gets almost a logo. There's a unique design for each cocktail on the graphic, which is really fun. I still think we should put those on shirts if we had more than 10 listeners, but we'll see where that goes. So yeah, like, you've got brand identity, which is a logo, but there's so much more than the logo in that.
There's fonts, selection,
colors,
there's colors, there's color pairings.
Photo style.
Yes.
All of that. You can do print design. That's kind of waning, but, PDFs and white papers and things like that. Digital design, illustration. I do love that Jesse still draws, like with a pencil to start some of his illustrations. It's so cool. User experience and user interfaces, especially for web, that's huge, or apps. Advertising, motion graphics, all of those things. Like you could even end up doing like an illustrated, animated, like 30-second ad or something. So you've really got to think outside of the, I want to create cool logos and that's all I want to do.
Yeah. But I think like it's just so important to realize that like graphic design is everywhere. I mean, if you really wanted to think of it, it's like it's in your mail pieces, like your junk mail. It's in this podcast episode copy doc.
In this little window
where, like,
that
yes, yeah, like all of those things. Like, what do you want to be the main point, and how does it flow? How does it function? Where do people's eyes naturally go? Like, yeah.
Yep. 100%. That really.
Everybody's got an opinion about it too. I think that's the other thing. Like
100%. Graphic design is my passion, Caitlin.
Oh God.
I am not a graphic designer. I can do little stuff, but don't. I think that leads us into some of these other like sub misconceptions or sub-myths. Like graphic design is just about looking good. No, art is about aesthetics, but even art goes beyond just aesthetics and has deeper meaning generally.
Yeah.
Well, graphic design has to work.
It's like, yeah, it's functional art, right? It's exactly what I was just saying. Like, it needs to understand the main point of what you're trying to convey. It's being cohesive with your brand elements. It's making sure that when somebody sees something from you, they understand where it's coming from and why it matters, because it's tied into other pieces or messages that they've seen from your company before.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, art, I think, is designed to be, there's a point of view to it from the artist, but it's also open to interpretation and has varying things that people get out of it. Graphic design is about conveying a message. You don't want people to kind of wander off and do their own random interpretation. Although if you don't use your fonts right and you don't watch your kerning, the word click can become dick really fast. And if it's in your sign, it's a problem. So that's like, there is major function to design. Like, it just is.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is a perfect segue into Canva being an all-in-one solution that, yes, it has its place, and I use it for personal things pretty frequently. It has made social media especially more accessible, but man, you can go south in Canva really fast if you don't understand just kind of like basic readability, principles of design. If you don't understand messaging, like, you can take a Canva template that's really good to start and
screw it up,
blow it up pretty badly.
Well, so I think, like, for me, Canva is like, I would use it if I was doing a neighborhood party and doing an invitation. Like, that might be what I would use, or a personal social media message and I just wanted a funky background or something and don't want to go pay for stock. I think where you get into problems too is when you're using like a base Canva clip art thing for a logo. Like, one, you're not going to own that because you're riffing off. Like, you'll do a variation of it and you'll potentially have something that's unique and of its own. And that is legal. It doesn't violate copyright law. Yeah. But when we see that, like, half the time when we see like logo contests and things, we can nail it and be like, Canva. And it takes very little effort to go search through Canva, or for God's sakes, in your graphic design class, don't just use a template from Canva to put it off as your own, because your teacher will find that. I mean, if they care, they'll find it. So it has a place, and I think it's also good for just inspiration. Like, we used to always just go to the design annuals, like the big books that we would get that have like all the designs from the world. Like, we used to get like those 4 or 5 times a year at the agency. And I'm sure they still do them, but now so much is online. But that's where we would look for, like, not something to copy, but inspiration. Like, are people going with cowboy themes? Are they going with muted tones? Like, what's happening? How are things working?
Cowboy themes.
I don't know where cowboy themes came.
I don't know that would ever be a thing.
Oh no, I do. I do, because we ate at Cattle Call here in Omaha. Why it's called Cattle Call, I do not know.
Is it a steakhouse?
No. It's like Asian Russian infusion deliciousness. So it's the Kathmandu, is it Momo House? Yeah. So momos are dumplings, and they do fried and not fried, and that is at Oh, at Exarban. Interrail at Exarban. Thank you, Zach. He mouthed Interrail to me. And so you can just get the dumplings. So they serve those, but it's the same owner. But they have other stuff. So they had like a short rib thing that was really good. And their cocktails, holy crap. I posted all those in our Slack.
Yeah, you did.
Amazing.
Those look delicious.
But on this tangent, though, coming back around, that's why cowboys are on my mind, because we were talking about, like, why the hell is it called Cattle Call? And then I go back to the old song from, like, I think it's the 1920s with the whistling in it. That's the Cattle Call, that country artists have been redoing, like, that song.
I don't know what you're talking about. And
you can Google it or YouTube it.
I will.
Cattle Call.
We'll put that in the show notes, too.
That'll be a great video for this one. So anyway, that's why I went to cowboys. But if your client is a cowboy or is not a cowboy, the other myth is designing just what they want is paramount. Mm-hmm. So you need to pay attention to them and you need to listen to their needs, but you also need to listen between the words for what they're directly asking for may not be what they need, and you can address that. And you can push forward, and the goal would be to do something better and wow and surprise and delight them, right? Mm-hmm.
So much of the account side role is like translating between what the designer says and what the client says they want, and like helping it's like mediation.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to be an order taker, that's not really what we do and what agencies do. And you're always going to just have kind of mediocre work, because part of why clients engage a professional designer or a professional agency is to take what they're trying to accomplish and make it better than they could imagine it themselves. I mean, I know when I was on client side, that was always my bar, was if this is something that I completely expected, then okay, don't want it. But if you gave me something a little bit surprising, or it was a little bit clearer on the message, or simpler, or more compelling, like, I was super happy with it. Yeah. Or just original, like where I want to look at that because it's different, it's unique, it's interesting. Yeah. So learn to push back appropriately. You are an expert in your field if you're a graphic designer and you're a professional. And they're paying you for that expertise and for your opinion and thoughts. So you can make them happy and not do exactly what they want. It is 100% possible. It's possible. So yeah, and even sometimes make them happier than they would have been if you had just given them what they asked for in the first place. So yeah, that one's hard, because especially when they come and like they're like, I laid this out in PowerPoint. Can you do this in Illustrator? And it's like, oh God, no, please no.
We can, but we shouldn't.
I don't mind a sketch or like this is what I'm envisioning in my head. To harken back to Brene Brown, it's sort of this is the story I'm telling myself for what I want in my head. Yeah. But you can feel free to interpret that more broadly and correct me or make it better. Yeah. Please improve I've upon completely my bastardized Brene Brown's like story I'm telling myself. Well, maybe not. I mean, she doesn't listen. Brene, if you're listening, call in. Caitlin will give you a phone number later. Okay. Yeah. I think that's an episode.
I think we did it. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
So, 3 myths. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Yep, there is such thing as bad publicity. Email marketing is dead. No, it's not. You're just doing it wrong, or you're terrible at it. Graphic design is just about creating logos. Logos are cool. Logos are fun. We love doing logos. We've done several of them. But it's a small part of what graphic design is, and you've really got to broaden out from that. So hope you enjoyed.
Yeah. You can find our agency, as always, at Antidote_71. And if you have a question you'd like to send our way, you can head to ctapodcast.live to send us a message, or you can leave us a voicemail on our podcast hotline at 402-718-9971. And your question or comment will absolutely make it into a future episode. Needle, we're talking to you.
Yep. And you know, Caitlin, we would both die if Brene Brown called and left a message.
Yes, we
Like,
would.
we would just be starting the episode and we would fall over dead because Zach
That
would
would
play
be the
message
end
and
of
be
the
like,
podcast.
And we're done. We're out. So, killing our podcast. So,
Yeah.
speaking of the podcast that is not dead and not a myth, we do have another episode coming up in a couple weeks. That one is going to be the lychee rosé. So this will be interesting.
Fascinating.
It's pink. It's pink and creamy, Caitlin. So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It's, and there's actually no wine in it whatsoever.
Oh.
So lychee rosé. We'll learn about that in 2 weeks. I'm not going to spoil it, but I made Zach dive into it. And in that episode, we're going to talk about the HubSpot Shopify combination. So we're HubSpot partners. We're also Shopify partners. We don't do a ton of retail. We have a few. And of course, we have our intern store that runs on Shopify. They just upgraded the integration, and there's now some better workflow stuff and other things.
Cool.
So that'll be a really fun one.
Yeah.
That'll be a really fun one. Maybe we can see if Jessica can be on there because she's done a little bit with Shopify too.
Yeah.
Maybe, if she will.
I love it.
And then after that, we will have our intern Casey. Speaking of our online store, he is wrapping up in the next week or so. And so I think probably our first episode of September will be his final intern view. So you can go back and listen to the first one, which was a while back. Just scroll back till you see intern view. It's 10 episodes back or something. But yeah, so more to come. And then Caitlin will learn what a lychee rosé cocktail is.
I think I'm looking forward to that. I don't know. Lychees kind of freak me out.
I love lychees. Oh my god.
I know you do.
A lychee martini is my favorite. My problem is they're in a can, and the ones you have to get here, obviously, and you can never eat all of them because you generally use the juice in your martini, and you burn through the juice before you burn through all the fruit, so then the fruit dries out because the fruit's just a garnish in the martini.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll be curious to see, maybe I could expand my horizons with this lychee rosé and my lychee martinis, and we could go from there. I don't know.
We're going to find out. The lychee is your oyster.
All right. So yeah. So head over to ctapodcast.live. Make sure you're subscribing if you're listening and not subscribed. That would be a great thing to do.
Oh, we'd love that so much.
We would.
Well, we'll see you next time.